Hello everybody, it's foofootoo here, and today I'm doing another experiment video. We're going to be looking at Mimikyu again. I just want to show you, this Mimikyu has the weakness policy. You saw it there, I didn't need to go in the summary, but you can see it's got the weakness policy, and what we're going to be testing is if weakness policy activates when it's hit by a super effective move with its disguise up. And then we're also going to be testing what can break through its disguise, just like what moves or abilities can help break through its disguise. So let's get into this one. First off, we're going to have Lunala. I'm going to show you interesting thing about weakness policy, which I wasn't aware of, but apparently this is a thing, and it kind of makes sense, but I'll show you anyway. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Disguise is a really interesting ability, so I've explained it before. It basically means that Mimikyu can absorb one attack from the opponent, one hit, one damaging attack, will do 0 damage to Mimikyu and break its disguise to reveal its busted form. So I'm just going to go for a Shadow Sneak here with Mimikyu as I go for a Shadow Ball with my Lunala. Mimikyu is a ghost type, so Shadow Ball should be super effective, but Mimikyu has its disguise up, so let's see what happens. So we're going to go for the Shadow Ball here, and it's going to break Mimikyu's disguise, but you can see it doesn't say it's super effective, and therefore no weakness policy activates, which is pretty interesting. So when you've got your disguise up, you can't use your weakness policy, but once it is broken, then you can definitely use the weakness policy. I'm going to see if the Shadow Ball just takes out my Mimikyu. It might do. It will be cool to see the cool to see the weakness policy activate though, but yeah, Lunala is a bit too powerful, so we're not going to be seeing that. You saw it had the weakness policy anyway though. So now what I'm going to do is skip and do Moongeist Beam against Disguise. Moongeist Beam is Lunala's signature move, and it ignores the target's ability, but Disguise is one ability that is not easily ignored, so it can't be copied and things like that. So we're gonna see if Moongeist Beam can break through. Let's see. Okay, so I've set this all up. We're just gonna go straight for that Moongeist Beam to see if it can damage through Mimikyu's substitute. What I also kind of want to see is if it breaks the disguise, but again, Lunala is probably going to be too powerful, and so Mimikyu may well just faint if it is hit through its disguise, so we might not be able to see if its disguise breaks as well as it taking the damage. But it could just be that disguise breaks and it takes no damage. Let's see, let's find out. So I'm just going to go for a Shadow Sneak again, and we'll go for that Moongeist Beam and see what Lunala can do. So here is the Shadow Sneak, and that does some good damage to Lunala, bearing in mind it's got Shadow Shield. It's 4 times super effective, no 8, yeah, 4 times super effective, but it's got the Shadow Shield. Here is the very pretty Moongeist Beam animation that's going to just do all the damage to Mimikyu. So yeah, so it does go through disguise. Can't tell if it breaks the disguise yet though, but I do have one final thing to do. I'm going to test Mold Breaker. So what I'm going to do is test a Mold Breaker pincer against this Mimikyu to see if it can hit through the disguise, and also if it can break the disguise, or whether it just does the damage through the disguise. Okay, so I ended up going with a Mold Breaker Chronodos because it's way cooler, and when do you see Chronodos do things? So I'm gonna go for a Mold Breaker Rock Slide on this Mimikyu, see if we can break that disguise as well as doing damage through it, or maybe we won't do any damage because Mold Breaker doesn't break through disguise, or maybe we'll only do damage and not even break the disguise. So let's see. I have a feeling that it will just do damage and not break the disguise. If it completely ignores the ability, then the ability's stance change or like form changing part won't work either, so that's my guess. I'm just going to go for a random move there and go for this Rock Slide with my Chronodos. It should still do a decent amount of damage. It's completely uninvested, but it's an Adamant Chronodos, so oh my god, that's a lot of damage. And it doesn't actually break Mimikyu's disguise, which is pretty interesting. So there we go. That's our answer to the question. Moves and abilities that ignore the disguise ability will mean that you can do direct damage to Mimikyu without breaking the disguise. However, you I know from experience, from testing with Ditto, that you can't copy the disguise, and I imagine that you won't be able to suppress it with things like Gastro Acid either. But yeah, that's all for today. We've learned some things about Disguise ability. I think it's a really awesome ability. Can't have your weakness policy if you've still got your Disguise up, because nothing will be super effective because you won't receive any damage. Very interesting. Yeah, so that's going to be all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please let me know if there are any experiments you want to see in the comment section below, but that's going to be everything. All that's have to be said is I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye!